It's the biggest weekend of the young season for the Big 12 Conference as 6 Power 5 matchups highlight our Saturday. Let's run it down starting in Lawrence, Kansas. Coming off that Central Michigan win, will have a chance to move to 2-1 as Rutgers comes to Lawrence. Number 5, Oklahoma meets the only team that beat them in the 2017 regular season in Ames at 11 a.m. Big time afternoon slot with Duke traveling to 2-0 Baylor. Oklahoma State will battle Boise State in Stillwater. The nightcap features our 2 mega matchups of the day as Texas will host number 22 USC. We'll get to that game in a bit. And finally, we'll start over in Arlington, where number 15 TCU will take on number 4 Ohio State. Both squads 2-0 to start the year coming into AT&T Stadium tonight, where Coach Patterson is 5-1 versus Big Ten opponents. As you may know by now, it was Turpin time in Dallas last Friday night when the wide receiver / kick returner Kevontae Turpin set the TCU special teams record with this 78-yard punt return at SMU. KT leads the Frogs on the receiving end through 2 games as well, and of course will be somebody the Buckeyes will probably hone in on tonight. Coach Patterson knows this is a big-time game on the schedule, no doubt. Game day is out in Fort Worth. It's a primetime game, and it's drawing a ton of attention. But as you would expect from Coach P, and you can't head into league action too high or too low.
What you got to be careful on when you put one in the third game is that you worry about the emotion into that game, and then we have Texas next week, and then you have Iowa State, then you have Texas Tech, and then OU. You know, I've been through this schedule 1,000 times in my mind. How do you manage it? You know, because most people think it's about calling plays, and really head coaching is about managing situations and managing people. And so how do you manage it so that you can keep the same intensity?
Kick is at 7 p.m. Central Time, and hey, we'll actually be over at game day as well at TCU. I'll be at the game Saturday night, so be sure to check out the Big 12's Instagram page for exclusive content. Mega game numero dos on Saturday. Texas will host USC at 7 p.m. on Fox. For Texas, a win tonight would be the 900th in program history. Coincidentally, the Longhorns' 800th program win came against USC in that 2006 national championship game. This game could ultimately come down to quarterback play. Texas obviously going with Sam Ehlinger this year. The freshman threw for 1,900 plus yards last season, and this past weekend against Tulsa was an efficient 21 of 27 for 237 yards and 2 TDs. USC goes with JT Daniels, a true freshman who had his hand banged up last Saturday against Stanford, but appears set to go for tonight. Comparing the 2 QBs through 2 games, the numbers look similar. Ehlinger has been far more accurate thus far and has thrown 4 touchdowns to Daniels' 1. Another key to this game, Texas' ability to run the football. Keontae Ingram, as we know, banged up against Tulsa. He's doubtful to play according to Coach Tom Herman. That just means current leading rusher Trey Watson will have even more of a chance to shine. The grad transfer from Cal leads the team with 126 yards thus far and has a receiving touchdown. USC gave up a boatload of yards to UNLV 2 weeks ago on the ground, and Stanford stud Bryce Love ran for 136 yards in the 17-3 win last Saturday over the Trojans. Truthfully, it's hard to say what type of game we'll have this year. Texas has the more experienced quarterback and a stable of running backs. Plus, with the game down in Austin, Texas has a chance to make a strong statement on Saturday night. Working our way backwards now, Oklahoma State will take on Boise State at 2:30 p.m. in what's easily the Cowboys' toughest game to this point. The Pokes come into this one leading the nation in total offense and are 9th in total defense. On offense, receivers Tylan Wallace and Tyron Johnson paired with running back Justice Hill have lit it up to this point and will certainly look to continue that production Saturday afternoon. And quarterback Taylor Cornelius set the Oklahoma State record for most passing yards in a quarterback's first 2 career starts. When you have weapons like the Cowboys do, finding offensive balance is imperative. You look at OSU and you see those giant passing numbers and assume that running the ball isn't as big of a priority, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
We've been balanced for a number of years depending on where our maturity is. There's been times that we were a better throwing team than rushing, but we would prefer to be able to rush the ball effectively and throw the ball down the field like most other teams. But we've been pretty successful at it over a number of years.
One last note about that game, I think there's a theme for those attending.
Oh, I forgot. Hey, you know what? It's Stripe the Stadium in this game. So you guys can go to CoachGundy.com and get all the details. We got to stripe the stadium.
Finally, we get our first conference game this Saturday at 11 a.m. up in Ames as Oklahoma will take on Iowa State. Sooner fans, sorry.
Pressure. Kemp going up top for Lazard. It's caught. Touchdown, Iowa State. Iowa State, the signature upset win for Matt Campbell in the staff.
No doubt, this game last year started Iowa State along to their attention-grabbing 2017 season. But the Cyclones this year, 2018, didn't start the way they wanted, with Game 1 being canceled and last week losing to rival Iowa. But with only one game under their belt, ISU has a long season ahead of them. And with returning players like David Montgomery, Brian Peavy, and Ray Lima, the Cyclones look to continue this newfound success into 2018 and beyond. For Oklahoma, this is a game they've no doubt had circled on the calendar. Sure, the Sooners won the Big 12 championship and made it into the college football playoff last year, but the Iowa State game was the one blemish on last year's record. With Rodney Anderson out for the year now, Oklahoma will be rotating running backs, trying to figure out who the guy is. But one player that continues to emerge is wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. The sophomore caught 7 balls for 146 yards and a touchdown in Saturday's dominant win over UCLA, someone quarterback Kyler Murray will certainly target this weekend along with speedster Marquise Brown. For head coach Lincoln Riley, he's paid attention to what's happened in Ames over the years, and he knows the challenge that lies ahead on Saturday morning.
Yeah, Matt's done a great job. You know, he's really, it looks like from afar, changed the culture there. You know, their players have played very, very well, played very hard. I thought they were one of the most well-coached teams that we played all of last year, period. You know, just they do a great job with what they have, and he's continuing to recruit at a high level. So they'll be a great challenge. You know, it's never easy to play in Ames. You know, we've had a lot of tough battles there over the years, and I'm sure this one will be another one.
That's an 11 a.m. kick on ABC, and we're getting towards the end here, so let's check out the top plays from last weekend. Starting with number 3, Kevontae Turpin to the house against SMU, breaking the TCU record for most special teams touchdowns. Congrats to you, and we hope to see another one of those tonight at AT&T Stadium. Number 2, Oklahoma UCLA. I mentioned CeeDee Lamb had a touchdown last week. Here it is. Look at the concentration. Great grab. OU rolls against the Bruins. And number 1, it's not just one play. It's Kansas defeating Central Michigan on the road. It's been a long time for the Jayhawks. Congrats to you guys. And hey, let's make it 2 in a row this weekend against Rutgers. That's it for Big 12 Big Football this week. Remember, I'll be over on the Big 12's Instagram stories bringing you exclusive content from TCU Ohio State. It should be a great game between the Horned Frogs and the Buckeyes. For the Big 12 Conference, I'm Aaron Pryor.